How long do I have? 15 minutes. Right. Okay. Hello. Welcome back to Paul's Tech Chat. My name is Paul, and a few of you might have recognized me as I work for Android Authority, and I do all the reviews on the Android Authority YouTube channel. And yesterday I posted my review, the full review of the Pixel 11 Pro XL. So if you want to go and get some flashy B-roll, some nice shots, go over to the Android Authority YouTube page, because that is where you're going to get all of that sort of like traditional review. Here, I'm just going to do one kind of talking, one take. I'm just going to go through and tell you my thoughts on the Pixel. It's not scripted, there's no B-roll, and I have a lot to say about the Pixel 11 Pro XL. However, I only have 14 minutes left on my SD card, so I can't talk about it for too long. But I do want to say thank you just before I talk about this, because we hit 1,000 subscribers over the past couple of days. So if you have subscribed or you've commented on the channel, then thank you very much. I massively appreciate this. And if you are watching this and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, then go ahead and do it. Why not? I saw a stat in my YouTube studio that 97% of the people that have watched the channel so far, they're not subscribed. So if you all subscribed, we're on a journey. But that's what I feel like I've been on with the Pixel 11 Pro XL in the past week or so. So I picked this up at the Made by Google event. So I flew to New York. I was there. I had the review device. I actually went to the studio where they were filming the Made by Google event, and I couldn't get in because my name wasn't down for the actual event. My name was only down for what they call a sandbox, which is like the hands-on event. But I mean, I'd already done that with the phone a couple of days before. But yeah, it's a very interesting week that I've had with this phone, mostly because this has been brilliant. I was really worried about this phone. I did a video on this when I picked up the review device in New York a couple of weeks ago, and I couldn't really say anything about the phone. I couldn't tell you my thoughts. I couldn't tell you about the camera. I couldn't talk to you about the battery. But now all the review embargoes have lifted, I can tell you a little bit more about this. And I have to start with the thing that has surprised me the most. I am so surprised by the battery and Tensor G6. It's not a huge upgrade in terms of its specs for the Tensor G6. It never was going to be. I mean, a lot of us thought it was going to be built on that 2nm architecture. Turns out it wasn't. We all got really carried away, and Google confirmed it was just on a 3nm architecture. However, that doesn't matter, because the one issue that I think everybody had before we got to actually test these phones was the fact that the batteries had dropped. Not massively, maybe by 30 or 40 milliamp hours on the phones, but the Pixel 11 Pro XL has been a dream to use. I've not got close yet to hitting 20% on this. In fact, I don't think I've seen the 20% symbol yet on this phone. It's so incredibly good, and I just wasn't expecting it. It has fast charging, brilliant. I've not needed to use it. The phone, it hasn't ran hot. I think I said in the full review that the first few days as I was downloading the apps and it was kind of just getting used to what I was doing with the phone, the usage that I had, it was a little bit warm. But since then, it's just been great. I just wasn't expecting it, and I don't know what that's a combination of. I don't know whether the Tensor G6 is just a fantastically efficient chip, or it's the new modem. If you believe what you read and have seen, Google decided to not work with Samsung for the modem on this thing, and instead they went with MediaTek. They haven't confirmed that, but that's what our suspicions are. So maybe all the combinations of that working together, and the new TPU as well, maybe all of that bringing it together has made this a battery beast. I was very unsure what it would be like, but I just can't complain about it. If you think that you shouldn't get a Pixel 11 Pro because the battery is not going to be very good, I need to tell you, it is. It's the best battery that I've ever used on a Pixel, and that's something I didn't expect to say about this phone. Honestly, I just didn't. And then it brings me on to something else, which I have had a lot of fun playing with, and it's the camera. That camera on this phone, it's had a couple of updates. So firstly, the ultra wide, that is the same as it was on the Pixel 10 Pro XL, and I think that was where we had the upgrade from the 9 Pro XL. But the main camera, so it was a new sensor. The specs were exactly the same as last year's phone, and it's kind of pretty much what you'd expect. The photos are kind of the photos. It's not exactly they're very exciting. However, the new 5x lens, I love it. If I could just take a 5x photo every day for the rest of my life. But so like ignore any of these two cameras. I would just always want a 5x telephoto lens. And Google, they updated it a little bit here. Well, I say a little bit. It was quite a good upgrade. And the low light performance, it lets in more light. I think it was like, I don't want to just mess up the number. I think it was like 58% more light capture or more light sensitive, the Pixel 11 Pros and Pro XL. And I kind of am with it. You couple that with the camera looks, which I am obsessed with. Like, camera looks is so good to play with. I mean, I always liked how a Pixel camera looked anyway, but when you go into the camera app, I don't know if you've been able to see this if you haven't had one or not yet, but there's a little button down in the bottom here that just says looks. You go into there and you can swipe over and you've got all these different looks that you can play with, and these are quite different to just filters that you would put onto a phone, let's say the S26 Ultra or something like that. These are not just filters, they're working at the sensor level. They're changing the entire pipeline of that photo, and it's annoying that you can't add these camera looks on after you've taken the photo, but it makes sense because it's completely changing how that photo is taken. I complained in the review on Android Authority that it's like my only problem with this is that if you use the 4 default looks, so I'll show you again, but there's a couple of ones you can use. So if you swipe all the way over, you'll see there's 4 default looks that you can have there, which you can set. And if you're in those 4 default looks, you don't get a symbol or anything to tell you that you're in a different look to original. And I found that a bit annoying because I was playing around with, I think it was, what's it called? I think it's called Velvet. It's called Velvet. No, Vanilla. I was playing around with Vanilla and I took so many photos in that Vanilla camera look by mistake because I didn't realize that it was on. So I'd like them to kind of upgrade that. I'd also like them to upgrade Magic Capture. I don't get it. I don't get Magic Capture. I was taking some video with it. It gives you photos, which are actually not too bad. And the idea is that you get those photos and you get those, you get to keep that the video as well. And the video is so bad. The video is terrible. I don't know if I can show you now, but have a look on the Android Authority video. I was mentioning how terrible it is. It's 1080p. You can't change it to 4K. There is an option for video boost, but I mean, I just can't be bothered with that sort of stuff. And it's just choppy. The audio is awful. And someone commented on that video and they said, oh, but this is not meant to be moved around. You're meant to stand still. And I was like, well, if you're meant to stand still, what's the point of Magic Capture? Because at that point you can just take a photo or take a video and then screenshot or whatever from that. So they've got to update that. But I mean, that is not the Pixel's biggest issue this year. The biggest issue for the Pixel is video. It is still pretty bad. Like if you're outside and it's bright and you've got some good light, then it's absolutely okay. Like I was going to say brilliant, but it's not. It's okay. I don't know. It's just, I want Pixel to be so much better with video, and I just find it hugely disappointing that they can't get it right. I've been playing around with the 5x lens. Right now there's bugs where it won't focus on what's like in the middle of frame. I'm sure Google will fix it, but for now it's not great. Like people are getting these phones today, and I assume that people who are buying these phones are going to have the problems that I had over the last week. It's just not on the same level as something else. You have the S26 Ultra, and that video, it's not amazing, but at least you get pro video controls. You get camera LUTs. So if you want to take log video, if you want to take log video, you can do. It's like the same on the Find X9 Ultra. You have log video. The Pixel doesn't give you anything. Like it gives you creator mode, but in creator mode, you can just read from a teleprompter, and I don't know. I just don't know anyone that's going to do that. So at the moment, I think that the Google Pixel 11 Pros is actually, I think it's a good phone, but it's definitely missed a few things that it should have had. And talking of a miss, highlight is highlight is not good. This little thing on the back of your phone, this here, it replaced the temperature sensor, which is fine. I don't really know many people that use the temperature sensor, but I mean, it works very specifically for Gemini when your phone is down on the table, and also if you get a phone call from one of your favorited contacts inside of the Contacts app. But Who calls anyone? If someone called me right now, I'd be like, I wouldn't answer that phone. I don't have people saved as favorites in my contacts app. Like, who does that? Google not allowing this to work with messages or any other third-party app is pretty terrible. And I'll be honest, it's a massive letdown for Google. They had this whole like plan for whatever Highlight would be, and it just isn't working. But luckily, we have very smart people. Like, the Android community is great. And there's this guy here who I just saw a tweet from on Twitter where he's made an app. And now this app is called, let me just double check what the name of it is. It's called Highlight Studio, and it allows you to use Highlight for any app that you want. So right now, I've got it set up here for WhatsApp. And as soon as you go into the back and you hit test, that light now will start to come on when I get WhatsApp notifications. You can have this set for so many different apps, like any app you want. And this is exactly what Highlight should have been. You can have rainbow effects. You can like preview all this. I don't know how well you can see it there, but this is exactly what Highlight should have been. I'd love to be able to use this for like when you have your phone charging, so you just know when it's charging. It would be even better if it's like a proper charging indicator, so it could show like 30%, 40% by how filled the light is. But I don't know if I'm just asking too much for that. But it's I don't know, it's a letdown. Highlight is not good. And I think when you are charging $1,300 for the base version of the Pixel 11 Pro XL, at least, you have to do a little bit more than Highlight. And I was going to probably come into this video and talk to you about the RAM and how badly Google has kind of fumbled it. Well, actually, no, that's not true. That's not fair. I wouldn't say fumbled it, because I think everyone over the next couple of months is going to be dropping RAM, because we're in what's people calling it, RAM to get, I don't know, something about the world ending in RAM, like create a word for it. That's what people are trying to say. So Google are getting the brunt of this at the moment because they're the first people to up prices and drop RAM. And they've been very sneaky as well, because when you get review devices from companies, you tend to get like the base level of whatever that phone is. So what it would have been this year is that we would have got the base level of the Pixel 11 Pro. So that would have been 256 gigs, which would have given us 12 gigs of storage. However, Google didn't do it. What Google decided to do was give us the 512 gig version of these phones. And that meant that we got 16 gigs of RAM. So in the week that I had this, like, I didn't have any problems with it. It was fast. It was speedy. I didn't notice any sort of like slowdowns from this phone, because I had 16 gigs of RAM. So just keep that in your mind. If you're watching people's reviews, I said it in my Android Authority video. I called it out because I thought it was a bit sneaky, but just keep it in mind that people reviewing these phones at the moment, if it was for the embargo yesterday or any of these big channels, it is only 16 gigs of RAM that they're reviewing on a phone, unless they're doing the base Pixel 11, which I think is 12 gigs of RAM. Anyway, sorry. That's a long chat. That's a long bit. And my mixed feeling on this phone is the fact that I like it. I like it a lot. Pixel Snap, I love it. The Pixel UI, I also love that as well. The phone is a very good phone. If you were upgrading from like last year, I think I saw a few people say this could have been a software update. And I kind of agree. It kind of could have been a software update. And you don't need it if you have a Pixel 10 Pro or maybe even a Pixel 9 Pro. But coming from something later than that, I think you're going to really enjoy this phone. I think it's great. It's expensive, but we're living in a world now where new tech is expensive. It's not just Google who are doing this. But let me know in the comments what you think. And I have to wrap up the video because I have 1 minute left on the SD card and it could run out before I even finish the video. So if you've watched the video, thank you very much. If you can subscribe, I would massively appreciate it, because we've just hit 1,000 subscribers and that meant the world to me. So thank you very much. And if you subscribe, if you like the video, then that's great. I will if you comment on the video as well, I will reply to almost all of these comments, because I don't know how many people will comment on it. But for now, thank you very much. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks. Oh, there we go. It's gone.